I want to change. I know I need to change and I know what I need to do in order to change, but I cannot adapt. Change is not the problem. Knowing what to do is not the problem, but how to adapt to what to do in order for change to take place is the problem. And so why is it that we take time and put together processes to help us change, but then don't follow them? Or why is it that we do it once or twice and then stop? Here's what I think. Welcome back to my channel, Creating, Maintaining and Enjoying Your Professional Life. To those of you that know me already, my name is Leah. To those that don't know me, and on this channel we discuss education and the transition from education into employment. So today we're going to be discussing how you adapt to the things that are going to help you change. Most of us, or all of us, we all have something that we feel like that needs to change for the better of myself or to better those around me. And the problem is not the fact that we don't know what to do to change. The problem lies in the fact that we don't adapt to the things that we put down in order to change. And that's what I'm here to talk about today. Just a few tips or just a few things that you could do to make sure that when you lay down a strategy for you to change, you adapt to it and keep at it. The first thing that you need to understand, that we all human are different, but we have one thing in common, and that's the fact that we all easily respond to things that are positive. We also know and respond to the negative, but we respond quicker to everything that is positive. What does that mean? That means that if you're trying to adapt to something to help you change, first of all, look at the things that are positive. Look at the things that will actually encourage you to go ahead and do what you need to do in order to change. I'm going to give an example. For if you have a meeting somewhere, and in that meeting you know that all the time it ends up that people are crying or people are hurt or whatever, when you're inviting people to this meeting, you will try hard to make sure that you talk about the good thing that goes on in the meeting, so that those that haven't been in a meeting can also be encouraged. But imagine if you're inviting somebody for the first time and what you say, just bear in mind, people cry or things go wrong and whatever happens. So people are not going to be very responsive to that, because they're probably going to be scared. They're going to think like, why do I need to go where I'm going to get hurt? And even though in the meeting that's where they're going to get the stuff that they need in order to change, they might end up missing that. So what you need to do is to use a technique of introducing the positive first, and they'll meet the negative later. As long as you've weighed and said, you know what, even if the negative comes in, they will already have had what's going to make them better. So think about that before you do anything. And the second thing that you need to understand, the human being are different. As much as we have a common thing that we all do, but we are different. So what mistake most people do is thinking that, you know what, so and so adapted to this whatever strategy and it helped them change. Therefore, I'm going to introduce this to everywhere I go, or to all the teams or everything that I go in. That might end up not working, because we process things differently. We process things faster in a different way and using different methods. So if you think about that and think about the people that you introduce, or you think about yourself and not just pick anything that has changed somebody, but think of something that is going to change you depending on who you are, then that's going to help you really first. And don't get that mixed with the fact that we're the same, because we process things, positive things, quicker, but make sure that you know who you are. And this means that you're going to be able to create things that are going to be able to work for you. The second thing that you need to do is actually understand exactly how your vision looks like. Because if you're trying to change and you don't know what you want to change into, I am sure that you're going to put down things that are, one, going to be very hard for you to do, and or you will never get to do them ever again, or they won't work, because first of all, you don't know what you're expecting out of what you're doing. That means, how are you going to understand? You won't. So take time to process the vision or the outlook of what you're expecting, and then put down the things that you need to be able to do. Because you know what is coming out, that is going to help you adapt to the things that you put in place in order for you to change. The other thing that you need to understand, the other thing that you need to do is to understand the cost involved in the processes that you put in place, or the cost that is involved in adapting to the processes. When you know that, you know what, if I don't actually do ABCD, it's going to cost my life, or it's going to end up costing me more money, or it's going to end up costing me whatever. If you don't know that, it will end up cost you, and there won't be anything to push you to do it. But if you know it's going to cost you, you want to do it as fast as you can so that you get the result and stop doing it. I'm going to give an example of actually someone who is struggling with being overweight. If you're overweight and you know that, you know what, I need to go to the gym, or I need to do this exercise and that to help me bring back my health to the normal me. If you know that if you don't do that exercise, it could lead you to heart failure, it could make you, you could die out of that. If you don't know that cost, maybe you won't care much. You said, you know what, when I get time, I'll do it. But if you know that if I don't do this, I could actually die tomorrow out of being too fat, or I could get diabetes, or I could get all these things. If you don't know that cost to your life, then you do it. But knowing that is going to help you to adapt to the exercise. The other thing that you need to do is to implement availability bias, or also known as heuristic system. What availability bias means is actually this is a system, for those that don't know, this is a system that you actually use to draw conclusion to the things that you see easily, or the things that you remember easily. For example, if you went somewhere and enjoyed the music, and someone said, oh, how was that party? And because you remember the music and it was so good, and it kind of caught your attention, you will easily remember that. He might not be, or they might not even be talking about the same party that you went to, but and you would have gone to so many parties, but the fact that particular party kind of fulfilled you, it will probably be the first thing you remember. And when they ask you, you draw conclusion using that. Or sometimes it's just because whatever you see around you, you use that to make a decision depending on what you've been asked. So now, it's not always a good thing, because sometimes it could be wrong, but it's a good actually practice to have if you want to adapt to doing things. For example, if you know that you need to help yourself drink water, but you don't have water all the time, make sure that you always sit down with a glass of water all the time, because it's there and you see every time you're thirsty, or every time you feel like I need to, you would drink it. If you had to go to the shop and buy a bottle of water every time you needed it, you end up not drinking it, because you feel like, you know what, I cannot be bothered walking that or driving down there, or I'll do it next time. And that means you never end up doing it. So think of the things that you actually want to do, and look at your area, or look at where you live, or look at your circles, and see how easy how easy are they to be accessed. If they're hard, make sure they're available. If they're difficult, just know that it's going to be hard for you to do it. I'm going to give another simple example to those of you that are, anyone that is struggling with weight. Simple thing as having a mirror in your house. And I never really thought of this, but just recently when I was actually thinking of doing this topic, I thought to myself, hold on a minute. Every time I look in the mirror, I see myself and I'm like, ooh, I look good. Ooh, I don't like this about me. So anything that I feel like it's good because I've seen it visually, I'll end up doing it again. If I like a top, I'll end up wearing it again. If I don't like how I look and I need to go to do exercise, I'll go ahead and do it. So put in a mirror could be such a simple thing, but it works. So even things that you want to change, you will look at, for example, going to church. Going to church could be something for someone who wants to grow spiritually. You could think, I could do it at home. I can, read my Bible. I could try wherever. But surrounding yourself with people that actually understand the word of God, or surrounding your going to church or meeting these people that know, you can easily ask. You can easily be fulfilled because they'll be talking about that all the time. That's all you hear. That's all you see. And in your head, you start to believe that this is actually good practice that needs to happen just because you're surrounding yourself. And that's how I see it. Surrounding yourself with the things that you need. So in area that you need to improve, before you put down the list of things that you need to do to improve, make sure that you put down a system, and that bias system or availability system is a good one, is a very, very good one, and it has worked for me, whereby I just look at things, oh, I wanted to do this but I didn't do it, let me do it now, just because it's easily accessible. So think about that. The other thing I would say, do not tolerate bad habits that are going to break your structure. If you've put down a structure to help you grow in something, but then on the other hand, you tolerate bad habits that kind of go against what you put together, it's going to be so hard for you to adapt, because one minute you're going to enjoy this side, the other minute you're going to enjoy that. So you will find it so hard to actually keep practicing and then eventually adapt to it. So what I say, or what I think would work for you, is to completely say, not tolerate bad habits. That's it. And the reason why I say that some habits are very hard to not tolerate, because you think it's normal, or you think I've done this for as long as whatever it's hard for me to get rid of. But if you discipline yourself and say, you know what, I'll get rid of that. No more sugar in my house. No more sugar. No. And then replace it with what you think can, satisfy where sugar would have gone. That can kind of help you. So always think of replacements that are giving you the same results, but then sort of replaces what you're kind of finding or struggling to kind of get rid of. That's what I think. The other, or my last point, I'd say, it is very, very difficult to actually get opportunities that can help you change for good. Some opportunities are one lifetime, If someone is training you to do something and you never see them again, that means if you don't do it then, if you do not adapt, then you'll never get that opportunity. So once you get that in your head that this is a one life chance for me to grab whatever I need from this person, once you know that it's going to force you to actually go ahead and do it, and then eventually you adapt. Remember, we're talking about things that will help you adapt to the system that you've put together in order to improve. And our conclusion was, the problem is not the fact that we don't know what needs to be done. We know, and we've put down things to do, but the truth remains that we never do it. And the question is why. And these are some of the things that I thought, you know what, maybe if we try this, it'll work. And I've tried some of these things, or most of these things, and they've worked, especially the system, or the availability bias system. It has worked. Every time I turn around, I see water, I drink it. Every time I turn around, I see what I couldn't bother to do, and I end up doing. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you've learned out of it. Give me, thumbs up if you like, comment, share, and enjoy. That's for me today. Please stay